Hi there, this is Maths with Angela doing a little bit of trigonometry for you. So as you can see, I've written out my three triangles which represent sine, cos and tan. So this is sine of the angle opposite hypotenuse, cos of the angle adjacent hypotenuse, tan of the angle opposite and adjacent. So let me talk you through the steps. So step number one is always to draw these triangles out at the start of the exam paper or question paper. I remember it as SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA, okay? And remember I've only used the initial letters, but this means sine of the angle opposite hypotenuse, cos of the angle adjacent hypotenuse, tan of the angle opposite adjacent, okay? So step number one is always to take your diagram and to label up H, O and A, okay, in that order. So hypotenuse first. So the hypotenuse is the length, longest length opposite the right angle, yeah, opposite. So this is the hypotenuse. The opposite is opposite the angle that's put in there. Either it's given as a number or as a letter. So this is the angle. So this is the opposite here, and then the adjacent is the one that's left. Okay. So step number two is to cross out one of the letters that is either not needed, in other words, they don't want you to find it and they don't give you a number for it, and that is this one here. Okay, so I have taken out this opposite here. It's not involved. I don't need to find it and they haven't given me a number for it. So I'm only involving the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So I go back to my three triangles, and which one of these has A and H in it? Yes, it's the cos one. So I then, step number three, draw down the one that I'm using. So cos, adjacent, hypotenuse. Right, so step number four, I am going to cross out the one that I'm trying to find, because this is a cover-up rule. So I'm going to cross out the hypotenuse because I want to find it. So I'm left with this calculation of the adjacent over cos of the angle. So the adjacent divided by cos of the angle. So it's going to be A divided by cos of the angle, whatever the angle is. And I've just done this little theta here to represent a number. Okay, so my adjacent is 15 divided by cos, and usually brackets come up on the calculator, and I put 76 and close the bracket. So if we put that in the calculator, so 15 divided by cos of 76, close brackets, to one decimal place we end up with 62.0, and that's meters because it's 15 meters here. Another thing to check is that because the hypotenuse is the longest side, this number here should always be bigger than the adjacent or the opposite if you had it. Okay. All right, so having a look at these, make sure you've got these three triangles drawn down. Okay, these are the thing that you've got to remember. I want you to now have a go at this question here, question D. So let me talk you through the steps. Label up the sides. Cross out the one that you don't need. Pick the triangle sine, cos or tan. Cross out the one that you don't need, or sorry, cross out the one you need to find, and then either times or divide, depending on where it is in the triangle, to calculate it. Okay, so those 5 steps. So pause the video and have a go, and then I'll give you an answer. Okay, so let's have a look at this one here. So step number one, we need to label up our sides. So we've got H, O is over here because it's opposite 70, and the adjacent is here. Step number two, cross out the one we don't need, which is the H. Go to the triangle and find out which one has O and A in it. And yes, it's tan, so it's TOA. We're going to cross out the one that we want to find. So I want to find A. Okay, so I'm left with O divided by tan of the angle. Okay, so in the calculator you're going to do 19 divided by tan of 70. Okay, I'm going to do it to one decimal place. So 19 divided by tan of 70, close brackets, is 6.9, and that's meters again. Okay. All right. Last one of these ones where you're trying to find the sides. I want you to have a go at G. Okay. So same rules, 5 things to remember. See if you can get this one. Pause and have a go. Okay then, right, so here we go. So let's label it up. So we have H, O is this one over here, and A. Okay. So we're going to cross out the one that's not involved, which is A. So we want the triangle with O and H in it. Okay, so we've got the sine one. We're going to cross out what we want to find, which is this one here. So again, we're going to do a division. So O divided by sine of 11. Okay, and O is 59. Well, so 59 divided by sine of 11. So 59 divided by sine of 11. And that gives us 309.2 meters. Okay, so there you go. That is how you find a missing side on a triangle.